All right, in this video, we're going to take a look at some practical applications of neutralization reactions. Once again, practical applications or just applications means where do we use these things in the real world? The purpose of this sheet is really to get you to learn the applications by doing some problem solving. So you should have actually tried this sheet out yourself. It's within your note, filling in some blanks there, answering some questions, and kind of discovering some of the applications as you go. So you'll be learning a little bit about the applications by doing some readings and then solving some problems. The purpose of this video is to check your work. So once you're done this, you can go back and check your work based on the video that you're watching. So one of the first applications that we're going to learn about is something called antacids. In your stomach, you have special cells that will release this acid called hydrochloric acid. And you know what that is. You know hydrochloric acid is HCl. So your stomach acid is actually HCl. And that helps you to digest food. So sometimes some people will produce too much of this acid, and that can cause heartburn. And what heartburn basically is when the stomach acid will sort of go up into your tube here, this esophagus. And because your esophagus is thinner, the acid will damage that esophagus, and you feel it as a bit of a burn in your chest. And people sometimes think that it's close to that it's your heart being injured, but it's actually just heartburn. It's actually your esophagus being injured, not your heart. It's just close to the heart area. One way to treat heartburn is to use what's called an antacid. It's a substance that will help to neutralize the excess acid that made its way into your esophagus. So based on that description, we're going to answer a couple questions. Which of the following would an antacid most likely contain? So think about this carefully. We know that the purpose of an antacid is to neutralize an acid. Okay, great. So what neutralizes acids? Would it be more acid? Probably not. So I probably wouldn't use hydrochloric acid to neutralize hydrochloric acid. And I probably wouldn't use HBr either because that's an acid, hydrobromic acid. So I probably want to use something more basic, something that contains hydroxide. So A would be good and B would be good. Here I put more than one answer as possible, okay? And so these are your two answers you want to select. And to justify your answer, you want to say that A/B are bases. Bases will neutralize the excess acid. So you don't have to write gigantic paragraphs. You just basically just need two sentences. A and B are bases. Bases will neutralize the excess acid. You could, if you want to, add that C and D are acids and would not neutralize acids. You could say that as well, but really if you just had these 2 points here, that's it. Full marks. You showed you understood the idea behind the question, and you weren't just writing everything you knew. You were answering the question, right? I always say if I ask you for your name, you tell me your name. I don't really care what your favorite color is. I don't really care what your favorite food is right now. I just want to know your name. Then maybe I'll ask you that. So just tell me your name. Then we move on to other questions after. But try to answer what the question is asking. Okay, so that's one application, antacids. We're almost done. We have one more problem here. Write a balanced equation for the neutralization between hydrochloric acid and magnesium hydroxide. So we're practicing what would happen if you were to take a tablet or an antacid that contained MgOH2. So we have MgOH2 aqueous. You take a pill that has that stuff in it. It's going to react with the HCl in your esophagus. And that's going to produce some, let's see, magnesium goes where the H was, so MgCl2 plus some water. HOH or H2O, whatever way you want to write it to make it easier to balance. I think I need to put a 2 here, a 2 here, a 1 there, and a 1 there. And now we're balanced. And there's what's happening when you take the antacid tablet. Okay, next, let's see application B, pH in swimming pools. So when you have a swimming pool, or if you've ever been in a swimming pool, there's actually an ideal pH range that the pool should have. It should be between 7.4 and 7.8. So a little bit basic. If it's too far below 7, then it's too acidic and your eyes will get irritated. And if the pH is above 8, then the problem there is that the chlorine that's in the pool becomes ineffective, meaning that it won't clean the pool very well, and you want it to. And then so that when that happens, then the water will irritate your eyes and it becomes very cloudy, and you don't really want to swim in that either. So it's important that you maintain a proper pH for your pool between 7.4 and 7.8. If you own a pool, you've probably seen this, a pH test kit, and it helps you to monitor your the acidity of your pool using indicators, for example. Okay. So suppose the pH of your pool was too high. The pH is too high. Which would you add to fix the problem? HCl or NaOH? Explain. So try to pause the video and try this yourself, and then check your answers after. Right now, the problem is the pH is too high. So you want to lower the pH. The only thing that you can do to lower the pH in this situation is select the acid. So you would select HCl, and the reason for that is that HCl is an acid, and it would lower the pH by neutralizing the excess base. So we said the pH is too high, which basically means it's too basic. So I know I have to add an acid to neutralize the extra or excess base. Okay, try the next one. If the pH is too low, which would you add to fix the problem? A base or an acid? Explain. So our problem here now is that our pH is too low. It's too acidic. So how do you get higher? How do you get less acidic? Well, you have to add a base. So you would add a base. The base would increase the pH by reacting with the excess acid. Okay, now we have two more applications here. So this one is an interesting one. Fish tastes fishy because it has lots of base in it. Base actually contributes to the fishy taste of fish. Explain why you think we put a lemon on fish before we eat it. How does a lemon get rid of the fishy taste, in other words? Use the words neutralization, acid, and base in your explanation. So try to write a response out that contains all the proper keywords to answer this question. So you'd be looking for something like this. Lemon contains acid. This acid will neutralize the excess base in the fish, and it will taste less fishy. So notice we said the lemon contains acid. We said it will neutralize the excess base, and then in the end, it will taste less fishy. So we used all the proper keywords in one sentence to answer this question, right? Not asking for big paragraphs, simply showing me what you know that relates to the question. Okay, next up, another application. Bee stings hurt because bees inject acid into you, which causes a burning sensation. Using the words acid, base, and neutralization, explain why rubbing baking soda on a bee sting will help to ease the pain of it. Okay, hint, baking soda is a base. So we know that um, the baking soda is a base which that will react with and neutralize the acid from the bee sting. This will reduce the burning sensation caused by the acid. So again, we said we have a base, we have an acid, we do neutralization, and then we just kind of connect it to the main point of the question, which was, why do we put baking soda on it? Well, it will reduce the burning sensation, and it did that by neutralization. So in this video, we learned about applications of neutralization reactions by doing some practice problems related to neutralization reactions, acids, and bases. Make sure you can you can memorize some examples of these applications of acids and bases and explain how they work. And then if I give you a different application with a brief explanation, could you perhaps answer some questions related to that application just as you did in this sheet here?